Hello, this is Alison from Berroco with another tutorial for our mystery knit along. We're working on our April lace blocks, and this is a little swatch with part of block 6 and our block 6 lace chart. And just to give you a little orientation, if you've never done any lace stitches before, lace is made up of increases and decreases that are artfully arranged. The increases are all made with yarn overs, and I'll demonstrate how to work those. And the decreases, we have left slanting decreases that are made with an SSK decrease that I'll show you, and right slanting decreases, which are knit two together. And then we also have a double decrease, in this case, a centered double decrease. And the nice thing is the wrong side rows are all just purl across. You purl across all your stitches, including the yarn overs. You just purl right across all of them, just like a normal purl row. And it's just on the knit side that we have these special stitches. I've worked a few rows here just to get us set up, and I'm going to be starting with row 7 of the stitch pattern here. And I did that so that you can just see how things line up in this chart. So we're knitting those first two that happened before the pattern repeat, and then as the pattern repeat starts, we have 3 knits. Now you can see as I'm going that the third of these stitches, you can see where my yarn over was in the previous row. So I'm knitting that one, and I'm just pointing that out because always with charts, it's really helpful to orient yourself to how the stitches are lining up. And now we have a yarn over. So to make a yarn over, I'm just bringing the yarn to the front of the work and back to the back where I'm knitting my next stitch. So now we've done a yarn over and a knit stitch. The yarn over by itself won't stay on the needle, so you always have to work the next stitch for that piece of yarn to stay on the needle. And now we have a left slanting decrease, which is an SSK, which stands for slip, slip, knit. So we're going to slip the first stitch knitwise, and then we're going to slip another stitch knitwise. And when we slip our stitches knitwise, that's turns them so that they're facing the other way on the needle. And now I'm going to take my left hand needle and I'm going to go back into these 2 stitches. So now I'm in my regular position for knitting, and I'm going to just knit those 2 stitches together. And now we have knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we have a right slanting decrease, which is just a knit 2 together, which is exactly how it sounds. We just go into the next 2 stitches together, and then we knit them as 1. So that decreases 1 stitch, and that decrease slants to the right. Now we have a knit 1, and we have another yarn over. And again, you can see that yarn over is going right in line with where those other ones were, making a diagonal line. So we're bringing the yarn to the front and to the back again. And then we have knit 4 to get to the end of our repeat. 2, 3, 4. And then we're back to the beginning of the repeat where that red line is. And we're going to knit 3, 2, 3, and then a yarn over. So we're just bringing the yarn to the front and over the needle. Knit 1, and then we have our SSK left slanting decrease. So slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, and then insert the needle into the front of those 2 stitches and then knit them together from that position. And then knit 3, 1, 2, 3. And I've been demonstrating this holding the yarn in my right hand, which is not how I normally knit, but it's a little bit more clear. I think for those of you who do hold the yarn in your right hand, it's more clear demonstrating that yarn over, doing that in that way, but I will also show for continental knitters. But now we're up to our knit 2 together, and then knit 1. And now we have another yarn over, so we're bringing the yarn to the front, and then we're back in the back to knit the next stitch. We've got 4 knits before the end of the repeat. And for the purposes of this demonstration, I only cast on 2 repeats of the pattern. You will have more repeats for your actual block. And that is row 7. So now I'm going to go ahead and purl my next row. Okay, so now we are ready to work row 9. I'm going to do this one holding my yarn in the left hand for all you continental knitters out there. So we did 2 to start the row, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 knits, and now I have my next yarn over. So for the yarn over, when you're working continental, all you have to do really is just catch the yarn, go under the yarn with your right hand needle. So again, you would just go like that. And then we have knit 1. We have our SSK. So we slip as if to knit, slip as if to knit, and then go in with our left needle into the front of the 2 stitches, and then knit them together from that position. For this row, we just have 1 knit in the middle. Now we have our knit 2 together, knit 1, and we can tell, oh, look, it's time for my next yarn over. So I'm just going under that strand. Now I have knit 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then starting the next repeat, I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again we can see, oh look, there's that line. Time for me to do a yarn over. Knit 1, SSK, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, and then we're going to knit. And then after row 9, once we get into row 11, we're going to have a double decrease. So I'll meet you back on the right side row for that. Okay, so row 11, we have a similar pattern, but because where our decreases are meeting at the top, we're going to take, it's going to be these 3 stitches, we're going to decrease down to 1. And this particular type of double decrease is called CDD, or centered double decrease. And it makes a nice centered double decrease, exactly like it sounds. So I'm going to work over to where I'm doing my yarn over, So here we go. There's that stitch, and then there's my yarn over. Or if I were holding the yarn in my right hand, again, for the yarn over, I'm bringing the yarn to the front and over the needle. And then I have knit one. And now we get to do this fun centered double decrease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip the next 2 stitches together, like I was going to do a knit 2 together, but I'm just slipping them. So I'm going in front ways like I was going to do a knit 2 together, but instead of knitting them together, I'm just slipping them over. And then I knit the next stitch. And then I'm going to pass the 2 slip stitches over the stitch that I just knit. So I'm going to go into the front of them with my left hand needle. Make sure you don't split the yarn. I find it can also help to just give a little bit of tension on the yarn to make sure that you're bringing that through. And that is our centered double decrease. So you can see by doing that way, the middle stitch is the one that is in the front of those 3 stitches that we decreased together. So I'm gonna do my next knit, yarn over. I'm gonna switch over to continental knitting for the next one. So I'm gonna knit over to where I have to do my next yarn over, which I can now really see very visually. And so I'm not even counting my stitches. I just know that's my yarn over from my last right side row. So I know I'm knitting that one and I'm making the next one so that it continues that line. That's my yarn over, knit 1, and now we have our centered double decrease. So again, we're going in as if to knit 2 together with these next 2 stitches. Then I'm knitting the next stitch. And then I'm taking the left needle and using that to grab those 2 slipped stitches and pass them over the knit stitch. And then we'll go to our end of our row. Now in the other block, the block number 7, we have some other kinds of double decreases. So while we're here, I'm going to just show those as well on my next right side row. Now for block number 7, we have a couple of other kinds of double decreases. And just for fun, I'm going to do them to make a nice little line. If I wanted to take these 3 stitches and make them come to a point, like for example, in row 17 of this chart, if I did my yarn over, and now this is a left slanting double decrease, which is slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over. So this is actually pretty similar to what we did with the centered double decrease, but it's actually a little bit easier. We're just slipping 1 stitch as if to knit, and then knitting the next 2 stitches together, and then we're just passing that 1 slipped stitch over. So for this kind of double decrease, you can see it slants to the left because that first of the 3 stitches ends up on top. Whichever stitch ends up on top is kind of what ends up slanting it. And then there's also, in a couple places in this chart, a right slanting double decrease, which is just simply knit 3 together. So this is actually the easiest one of them, because just like as if we were knitting 2 together, knitting 3 together, you just go into 3 stitches all together and then knit them together like that. And then that makes the decrease slant to the right because the leftmost stitch ends up on top. And those are our 3 kinds of double decreases that are used in our blocks this month.